Good morning, adventurers.
Good morning.
From Krakow. So we are staying in pretty much the center of the city, kind of a few blocks from the old town, which we've already explored a bit, and it was very cool. And we went to a cafe and got some work done yesterday. It was very nice. But today I think we're going to explore the city a bit, but we're also going to be trying some Polish food. We were just kind of doing some research online. We found a few dishes that seemed pretty interesting. Now, of course, we can't try everything today, but we have a few key dishes that we really wanted to try.
I'm so excited for this one, y'all, because I thought we were gonna come to Poland like a year ago, so I did some initial research back then and was so excited to try everything. And then we had to wait a whole year, but now we're here and we're gonna start trying things and I can't wait. For our first stop of the day, we came to the Andrew's food truck to try Maczanka, which I believe is how you pronounce it. It's gonna take a few minutes though to make, so I think in the meantime we're gonna grab some coffee.
They have a little coffee stand over there called Knitted Coffee, and the woman was very nice. And we got some cold brew with a little bit of milk in them.
Yeah, I don't think we've had cold brew. We keep getting iced lattes, but not like just cold brew. It's awesome.
Yeah, when they have cold brew, we usually opt for that because it's usually got a little bit more robust coffee flavor, I would say. That's good cold brew right there. Oh yeah, a little bit of milk, that's the way to do it. Or a lot of milk in my case.
Well, yeah. So our Maczanka?
I think so.
Maczanka.
We're having a hard time pronouncing this.
But it's a really fun word to try and say. But our sandwiches are done, and it looks really similar to like a pulled pork sandwich you would get in the States. But y'all, these are mean sandwiches. Look how big they are. Probably should have split one, but we didn't.
Probably.
I got the Gazdowska, I believe, the number 8. It has grilled bacon, mountain cheese, Cumberland sauce, mustard pickled sauce, stewed onions, and then the meat and the bun.
You can see the thing is so juicy. It's like glistening in the sun. It looks so good. So
from my research, what I found out is that this dish originally is the leftovers from like a roast. So you take all the meat chunks and then you put it with gravy and you give bread so you can like dip it in there and scoop it all up. But nowadays, it's becoming more popular to serve it like as this sandwich, like as a fast food, which I think is a genius idea.
Being attacked by a bee.
He wants our meat. You can't have any of our Maczanka.
Get out of here. Guys, I have kind of a bee phobia. He's coming for me.
There you go.
He wants my meat.
Maybe. I'm not even going to attempt to take a bite just with my mouth. I'm going to use the good old-fashioned fork because this is pretty crazy. Oh my gosh, you guys, this cheese in here is so thick.
Oh dang, check that out.
There's some mountain cheese.
You're ripping it apart.
Oh no. I don't have a knife. Ugh. Hold up.
You need some help here?
Yeah, thanks. Teamwork. See, that's why you need a partner in crime. So they can pull your cheese apart for you. All right, here we go. No, that is salty. That is smoky. That is savory. That is sweet. That is pickled. It has literally everything.
Everything a girl could want.
This is so good. And the Cumberland sauce, I guess that's what this red sauce is. It's like a cranberry sauce, but that meat is so tender. That bacon is really smoky and delicious. The cheese is just so creamy. I think it would have been really like nice and stringy had we not waited a few minutes to try it. Oh my gosh, and then the onions are really flavorful with the sauce and then the pickles in there. This bad boy was 20 PLN, which is 5 USD. That's, I mean, you can't beat that value.
USD.
Yeah.
So I kept it a little bit simpler. I just went with, this was just called fried egg. So it's got the meat on there, it's got some sausage, there's the fried egg of course. And I tried to get it without onions, but they left the onions on there, but they actually look pretty good. So I think it's gonna add to it. And then of course this delicious bun.
Oh, you're going for it, right?
I'm not gonna scoop it out with my fork like you. I don't know what you're thinking.
Each their own, sir.
Oh no, the pigeon got it.
Oh, look at them. They're going to town.
Holy cow. Mistakes were made. Wow, they destroyed that meat. They literally like exploded it.
Guys, it's just being flung everywhere. Oh my god, they're all
These
coming.
guys are going wild.
Oh no.
Maybe use a fork. Maybe that was a good idea. This is really nice though. The meat is so juicy and creamy and oily and flavorful. The egg is a nice touch on it. You get like the saltiness of the sausage. The bread is hard but not too hard. It's just perfectly toasted. It's really good. This is a lot of sandwich, you guys. I've had to resort to the fork because it just every time I try to pick it up, it just explodes and these pigeons start freaking out. But it's damn good. And the onions, I'm glad that they ended up leaving them on because they add like a really nice flavor to it and they're not overpowering. If you're not in the mood for the Maczanka, there are a bunch of other food trucks in this little food court over here. You can try those out. They looked pretty cool. One of them served bratwurst, and it was called the worst truck. So
They have that. They
nice
had
little pun for you.
burgers. They have fries. I think they have ice cream even.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But we highly recommend giving those sandwiches a try because they were really good. We don't even feel that full, and we didn't really eat all the bread. I think that's the key because there's a lot of bread that comes with it. But if you really want to be full, eat all that stuff and I think you'll be good to go.
Oh, for sure.
The meat was so good.
It was like stewed pulled pork
Yeah.
in a gravy sauce. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, so I think we're off to a good start for this day. We are currently in Krakow's Jewish quarter, which what we read was that this was kind of the center of Jewish life for 500 years until the area was destroyed in World War II. And it kind of fell into disrepair, became kind of a dodgy part of the city. And then in the 90s, it was kind of revamped. And what we read was that some of that had to do with the movie Schindler's List by Steven Spielberg.
Which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's insane that it would have had that kind of an impact, but apparently that was kind of a factor in revitalizing the area. So now it's, you know, a center for like art. It's got really cool bars, a lot of Jewish culture still here, synagogues and all kinds of stuff.
For the most part, it's really quiet, and there are a bunch of people out, but it seems pretty local. But every once in a while, you get a big tour group coming
Yeah,
by.
because everyone wants to see it.
Yeah, but there are so many cafes and bars and everything around here that you could sneak into that you could easily have a moment to yourself.
It is an absolutely beautiful day out today. It's been mostly overcast, so it's nice and warm, but the sun isn't beating down on us. But we decided to chill at this beer garden that we found and get a couple beers, nice and cold and delicious.
Oh, they're delicious.
Yeah.
This garden is lovely. We were gonna leave the Jewish quarter, but we couldn't bring ourselves to because it's just so pretty out
Yeah, it's
here.
fun to explore, just
Yeah.
like walking around all the alleys and looking at all the street art and all the restaurants and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff. It's really cool.
For dinner, we have come to restaurant Pod Baranem, not sure how to pronounce it, but we are going to be trying a ton of dishes that are both traditional Polish and traditional just from Krakow itself. So the restaurant is actually really pretty. It's got this neat mix of the bricks, but it also has kind of like a new and updated feeling, so it's got the old and the new. There's also a ton of really interesting and nice artwork everywhere. And the dishes are really traditional, so we're really excited to try them.
We know that we are having a hard time pronouncing a lot of these words, but it's just kind of difficult for us, but we're making our best possible effort. We're going to put all the dishes that we're trying on the screen though, because some of them are really hard to say, but that way you'll know the exact dish that we're trying. And of course, if we don't try whatever you think is like your favorite Polish dish, just leave us a comment below and let us know what your favorite dish is, what you think we should try the next time we come through here, through Poland.
First up, we have gotten 2 different types of soup. Mine is blood soup. Just kidding. It's actually, I think it's Barszcz, maybe? It's got a lot of Z's and C's in it, but it's kind of like borscht, and that it's beet soup. It's served with dumplings in it. You can get it just vegetarian or with meat in it, but the dumplings sounded really good. So it's got this amazing red color, and it turned all the dumplings hot pink from the beet juice. But
It looks so interesting.
It smells so earthy, but also like salty and like it's got some good stock in there. Ooh, it's gonna be awesome. That is really good. It's got a lot of like a celery taste to it and a beet taste, but then it also has, I think, it's probably some beef broth in there. You can taste like a nice like meaty essence, and then the dumplings have meat in them as well, which is really good in season. Overall, this is amazing. In the wintertime, this would be my jam.
The soup that I have is a barley soup, and it's specifically a Krakow style. It's got big old chunks of sausage in there. You can smell it emanating from there. There's also egg in there, and what I read is that there's usually potato. I haven't seen any potato in here, but maybe it's in there, I just can't tell. And there's something green dusted on the top, either like parsley or cilantro maybe. We got some egg, some sausage, and a bunch of the broth. Oh, it's hot. A little too hot. You really get just the delicious taste of the salty, flavorful sausage, and the broth is just nice and salty and delicious as well, but really I just get this overwhelming taste of like juicy sausage, and it's really good. I tried Allison's as well, and between the two of them, they're both very interesting and very delicious. I really don't know that I can pick a favorite, but very interesting soups. And it's also like a sour soup, so it's got a little bit of that kind of sourness to it, which is really nice.
Our main dishes have finally arrived, and they look absolutely fantastic. There's so many goodies for us to try here. First up, we got the Polish schnitzel, I guess, essentially. It's this breaded pork cutlet that's then deep fried, and it's served with fried cabbage and fried potatoes. We also got pierogi, which we read is the national dish of Poland, which is pretty cool. So we got pierogi, I believe it's Ruskie, which I thought meant Russian style, but from our research we found out that it actually doesn't mean that, but a lot of places, including our menu, says Russian style. But those ones have this kind of cheese in them called pork, and then potatoes and onions, and they're all mashed up in there, and then the other kind we got are filled with meat. So you can also get tons of other different kinds. You can get it stuffed with cabbage, you can get them sweet. Both of ours are savory, and they're served with some interesting looking sauce on the side.
So I think I'm gonna cut into these pierogi first. So there should be a bunch of ground up meat inside this sucker. Oh yeah, check that out. Bunch of minced up meat in there. Oh man, that is really good. Dang, I was not expecting that much flavor. It's a little bit peppery. It's almost like got a nice pate creamy kind of texture on the inside. It's really finely minced up. That is really good. That was surprising because the outside doesn't have that much flavor, but when you bite on the inside, it just like bursts with all this meaty deliciousness.
I'm gonna try the more traditional style. That tastes like you mashed up peppery mashed potatoes. So I read that the cheese, the cork they put in there is really acidic, and you definitely get that. I think it's that with the pepper gives it a really like sharp taste, but then you put it in dough and it's just like, yeah, just potato dumplings, but they're so good and yummy. I know I said I wasn't gonna try to pronounce it, but I think that this Polish schnitzel is pronounced Kotlet Schabowy. And even if it's not, I think it should be, because that's just too fun to say. It's super nicely breaded, nice and golden brown. It looks all crispy, it's really thin. I mean, it's pretty much as good as it gets. It's like perfectly juicy meat in the middle, this amazing crispy crust. It's nice and salty, but not overly salty. I think it's gonna pair really well with the potatoes and cabbage, but on its own, it's still just as amazing.
We have tasted everything. We've been pretty much blown away by how good everything was.
It's all fantastic.
Yeah, and I just tried the schnitzel. It is actually really friggin' good.
So good. And with the cabbage that I just tried, oh boy.
Yeah, it's very nice. But now we are going to dig in and pretty much destroy all this stuff. We've ordered dessert. We have like Polish cheesecake. It's called Sernik. Is that what the waiter said? Sernik, something like that. He recommended getting the raspberry version, but we kind of wanted the more traditional style. At least that's kind of what it said on the menu. That's just like the plain style. So we've got a bunch of fruits, some berries, and this little dollop of cream on the top. And then there's like a dusting of, I think, some kind of confectioner sugar maybe. And then a little bit of chocolate. It's actually presented really well. It looks really nice. We had cheesecake recently in Greece, and it was pretty much the opposite of this. It was a lot more runny, a lot less solid on the inside, but this is really kind of gritty on the inside. It's really interesting. It's a little different. It's very airy on the inside. It tastes almost like angel food cake a little bit. But it's really nice. Definitely different than any cheesecake that I've had. Usually it's a little bit more like thick and creamy and dense on the inside, but this is really like aerated and bready almost on the inside. So I think that does it for our little food adventure here in Krakow. I hope you guys enjoyed coming around with us and watching us try all these delicious Polish dishes. We were completely blown away with how good everything tasted. I was telling Allison off camera, this has been one of my favorite food days so far because all the flavors were just so good and I was so impressed. It was all so delicious. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button to let us know. Leave a comment, let us know what your favorite Polish dishes are, especially if you're Polish and if you live in Poland.
Also, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe down below, and if you hit that little bell next to it, then you'll be notified every time we post a new video, and then you can see all the delicious adventures we have everywhere. But for now, I think we're about to go switch into our sweatpants and go to bed. Good night, adventures.
We'll see you on the road.